Hello, everyone. Welcome back. MTL Sports here. Episode 135. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everyone. This is Monday. Christmas is in 2 days. So we'll probably just give you one episode this week. So we'll jam pack it with, of course, the review of Week 16 NFL season. Game's still going on right now. So we won't cover that, but we'll cover everything else. Plus, of course, our Wednesday special NFL games of the week. We will be going through Week 17, letting you know what you should and should not watch. So, with all that being said, guys, stay tuned. We're back. Let's jump into Week 16. We're gonna review some of these games. I guess to start on Saturday, since we recorded last Thursday. But Saturday we had two games, right? The first game was Chiefs Texans, I think, right?
Yes, Chiefs and Texans.
Chiefs Texans was first, followed by Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Lawrence, first up. This here we go. Texans Chiefs. What were your thoughts?
I was glad that it didn't go in directly to the ref's hands to make sure a certain outcome was gonna happen. But it also just felt like the Texans, no matter what they had going for them, they never finished off anything they started. And that's kind of how the game pretty much played out. Like watching it, I was never like, oh man, like Kansas City's asserting themselves and the Texans look outmatched. Like it's not competitive. It was very scary to see Tank Dell get down and hurt. I absolutely don't want to look at that again. Just because of the kind of player he's been, and shows week in and week out. And the first injury was kind of sad. Now this one just adds to it. It hurts more a little bit. Seeing what he's already been through.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I didn't see it. Didn't see any replays. Don't want to see that. It was, from what I've heard,
His
and
teammate landed on him, and it was just in an awkward spot.
Yeah, kind of like friendly fire, kind of like Rashid Rice, right? Back in beginning of the season. Yeah, my thoughts. Basically, I thought that early on the Zebras were helping the Chiefs, and like you said, Texans were still in it. It wasn't like it was predetermined outcome, but like you said, Texans just couldn't capitalize on a couple of their drives. CJ Stroud threw 2 interceptions. One was just plain out like uncharacteristic of him when he jumped up and then just threw the ball right to the I think it was McDuffie, right? Just threw it right to him. I'm like, that's not CJ Stroud. So even with the 2 turnovers, it was close. And then Tank Dell went down, and you could tell that the vibe of the team just wasn't there anymore. And CJ was on the sideline during the medical timeout. He was crying, and I know that's a really good friend of his, and it's not an excuse, but as a starting quarterback, you got to kind of keep your composure, somewhat, and dig your team out of it, especially in an important game like this. So, yeah, I think the Texans could have had it, but like you said, didn't capitalize. Now with the loss of Tank Dell, I think Nico Collins didn't play either, or he did play, but didn't really hear too much his name. But with the loss of Tank Dell, loss of Stephon Diggs, they picked up Deontay Johnson, former disgruntled Panther. How do you feel about that? Do you think he'll help them at all, or he'll just pout at his new location?
Honestly, it's one or the other. He's either gonna embrace it and take it in, and realize that this is your final straw. In reality, he's gonna blow it. I mean, literally, all you have to do is go there and catch balls like you did at the beginning in Carolina. And I don't even know why you got mad and wanted to leave Carolina, because your draft stock was probably rising. Because you were by far like the best receiver we had. Constantly getting open, constantly kind of dropping the ball sometimes. Still,
Yeah, I know when we played you guys, he had like two or three drops, him and Leggett. So I know that's been an issue this season for him, but yeah, don't know why he's been disgruntled at all these locations. Hopefully, he changes his demeanor. Uh, Next up, Pittsburgh, uh, Ravens, Baltimore. Um, this pretty much turned out how I called it last episode. I said, "Hey, without George Pickens, I don't see them being able to expose this Ravens secondary. They're close to the bottom. I know they were dead last couple weeks ago. I don't know if they still are, but in pass defense, Russ, should have been able to eat them up, but that wasn't the case here. So, what are your thoughts, Lawrence, on Baltimore? I mean, this was pretty much not domination, but they handily won.
I thought it was domination. I think you should give him a little bit more credit. Yeah, Pittsburgh scored 17, but in my eyes and when watching that game, it was a pretty solid domination. Um, I don't know what's wrong with our boy Derrick Henry. I need him to find the end zone. I keep taking his touchdowns, and my man's can't get no touchdowns. Um, the passing game is so wide open right now for the Ravens. Honestly, it was a long time coming. Like Lamar should have had some couple wins by now against Pittsburgh. And the writings were kind of on the wall for this game based on the spread. I mean, this divisional game that always goes down to the wire, and Vegas puts it out at 7.5, six and a
Mm,
half in some markets for the Ravens. And once you read that, it's just like, oh, they're telling you that it's not going to be close. Like this is at the point in the season that these two teams are at. It's just one's going one way, one's going the other way. Doesn't matter the stakes in the division. It's just clearly how it is. And you, the odds maker, myself, we all saw it, and it played out like we thought.
yeah. I think the division still can be won by Baltimore. Pittsburgh would have locked it up with a dub, but of course that didn't happen. So interesting to see. Baltimore or no, Pittsburgh plays Kansas City on Christmas. I think so does Baltimore, right? They both
Baltimore
have games
plays
on
the
Christmas.
Texans. Yeah,
Yeah, so likely both teams need to win out to win the division. It seems like so. We'll see. I've still got 2 more weeks before this division is decided. So that's a little close race there. Now on a Sunday, we had some good games on Sunday. Um, some I liked, some I didn't like. All right, but I feel like for the most part, it wasn't as bad as past couple Sundays. Past couple Sundays, some of these games are just we just can't watch them. Uh, Lawrence, you want to go through some of the games you watched? I don't know if you had a chance to watch all of them.
I watched two of them consistently almost the whole time. And that was Commanders, Eagles, and Carolina Cardinals. So
Yep.
to be honest, I picked the best two games um, to have on my screen pretty much on lock. Now
Yep.
I floated around to some other ones periodically on the 1 o'clock games, like the Jets and Rams. But every time I did, it was just three and outs and drives just dying off, and there was just no action. I started watching Colts Titans, but every time that the Colts were just racking up the score, and you can clearly see that they scored everything in the second and third quarter. Titans just got eviscerated like it was nothing in that little short period. They tried to make a game of it, but in reality, the score isn't a reflection of the game. The Colts were
No.
clearly and strong handedly won that. Uh, I watched the big hit by Dan Campbell on Caleb Williams Live, and I was like, finally, someone's going to do it. Because all these quarterbacks who they get close to the sidelines and they're like, oh, let me try to sneak a few more yards in here. Like that's like a punishment that you deserve to get. Like Dan Campbell laid him out, threw him on the ground outside. Like that's how people should be doing to Mahomes too. Like Mahomes boy is crazy. Like we talked before about that, just riding up the sidelines and getting the protection because I could just sneak out at any moment. Just throw him out. But yeah, I watched that live. At that point, the score was getting a little bit abusive, and so I turned away from it because honestly, the Panthers and Cardinals and Washington Eagles. I know the Eagles were up by like 21-7. It does not matter. You could just tell by the vibes. It was all the refs. The refs were trying to help them. Refs were trying to push the Eagles down the field, and it just became to a point where the refs just couldn't protect you anymore. They couldn't stand up for you anymore. And the better team won. It was very clear that Washington was the better team. They had like 5 turnovers, and they still were able to win. Like they shouldn't even be thought of to have 5 turnovers and have still have a chance. But honestly, absolutely great job by Washington. Some guys fixing their mistakes. Like Brian Robinson, like towards the end of the game, clutch runs, clutch catches, and he didn't let the ball go again. But honestly, Jalen Daniels kind of knew I'm going to put this into my hands now, even though he threw 2 interceptions. But Kenny Pickett's just bad.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off you. Yeah, Eagles. You could tell the vibes once Jalen Hurt was ruled out with the concussion. You could tell the vibes kind of changed. They're kind of like, yeah, here we go. Kenny Pickett's in the game, and to Kenny's to his defense, though, we got to be fair. Devontae sold the game. If he just catches the ball, Eagles win. So he sold. Another situation. You remember what was that? What was it? A couple like beginning of the season when Saquon didn't catch that pass, and then was the Falcons game, right? When Saquon didn't catch that pass, and then the Falcons came back and won. That was the game that Kirk threw for 500, right? Yeah. So 2 games this season, they they didn't catch the ball, got unlucky. It happens. We can't. Like you said, Washington was a better team on Sunday, even with help from the Zebras. As far as the Eagles getting help. So we'll see if Jalen plays next week. I think Zach Ertz came back from his concussion in a week, so we'll see if the NFL lets Jalen come back in a week. My guess is Eagles really don't have too much to play for other than the division, so we'll see how that looks. I guess later on this week, Friday, Saturday, we'll get a better indication if he's going to play. Um, for me, I had my eyes glued on the battle for Ohio. Um, I mean, as a Bengals fan, it was a good win. I feel like as a casual fan, this was on. I think this was on CBS for the DC market. So maybe some other people, if you're not fans of both teams, you probably turn your TV to the Commanders Eagles, and I don't blame you. But it was a good game. At least I thought so. Our offense was pretty balanced. Joe, 3 tubs, 250 yards. I think the first player in NFL history to have 7 straight games with 250 plus passing yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, he's balling. Did have a fumble. Chase Brown's been balling ever since he started. Of course, we representing the Triple Crown winner, soon to be with 2 games left. Uno's just spectacular, bro. Uno's the best receiver. He's the best receiver I've ever seen, bro. I mean, I can't cap, bro. He's the best receiver I've ever seen, man. He can do it all. Like I thought Megatron or I saw Randy Moss, but Uno is crazy, bro. I guess I can't say anything else about Uno. Defense has been playing better, Lawrence, and I think for me, it's because the young guys have gotten in, like Jordan Battle, like he should have been playing. I know he's a rookie out of Alabama. Um, Old man Lou has a thing of not playing rookies, which is so annoying. He played well. The other rookie, Chris Jenkins, the D tackle from Michigan, he played well. Uh, some of the other young guys like McKinley Jackson played well, and what's the other guy's name? The D end, Murphy, Malice Murphy. He's getting better. So it was a good team win. Now we got a good test on Saturday against the Broncos. Moving on though, don't want to talk about the Bengals too much. My eyes were also glued to the Panthers game. I had this in my bottom right window of an NFL Sunday ticket. I was not a good friend. I picked against the Panthers only because I saw 200 odds, and I thought, hey, the Cardinals need this win. They need to keep it moving if they want to make the playoffs. And Kyler sold. He sold. Even though I kept saying to believe, he made me into not a believer. So Kyler, I don't know, bro. You might get shipped off. Honestly, I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, Kyler, he has ups and downs, Lawrence, and at times you're like, wow, this guy, he might be good one day, and then other times you're like, wow, he's too invested in Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's always like towards the middle of the season, their team starts to go down, and it's so ugly to say like, oh, it's Call of Duty, but like, what is the other reason? I mean, every single year, like at the halfway point, they always just start doing horrible when he's the quarterback. That is what it is. Like it has to be. Like it was in a contract early in his career, and then he forcibly had it removed, obvious reasons. But I also I won't fully blame Kyler because Carolina's secondary has been kind of balling of late, and I'm pretty sure it's J.C. Horn trying to
JC
prove
Horn, yeah.
that he deserves a contract, which J.C. Horn deserves a contract. And honestly, at this point in this of what he's done with us, Mike Jackson, number two, so 2 and 8, and Mike Jackson definitely deserves a contract. Um, they've just been outstanding as a duo, and I think it was the first time the Eagles have been shut down all season was when Mike Jackson and J.C. Horn got to put their stamp on it. And honestly, the Carolina's pass rush is just so bad that if they fix that aspect of their team, and you can do that in a draft, this team's dangerous. Um, they need an outstanding number one wide receiver. There's going to be plenty of them on the market. You also need to draft one. Like we can't be sitting here like, oh, Xavier Leggett could be it. Until he can prove that he can catch the ball. And also, it doesn't hurt to have cheap contracts that are wide receivers that are young. It doesn't hurt. And if you look at our wide receiver room right now, like they're all undrafted free agents, and the only one who's not who caught a ball technically he's Chuba Hubbard, but he's not a wide receiver. So the only one who was not undrafted is David Moore, who he's just an old journeyman. So obviously the team's kind of nice. So just fix it up defensively. And another part, when James Conner got hurt, their
The
whole team
vibes
just
changed
shut
too.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they shut down. And one thing Carolina can't do is stop the run since Derek Brown got hurt in the first game. They've not been able to stop the run all season long. And I get it, you don't have James Conner anymore, but Michael Carter, like, run the ball. There's other people, there's other running backs in your team, I would hope. Um, Apparently, they still can't run the ball. And then was it Trey McBride said that like, oh, we're sorry because we lost to them and they're crap. I'm like, dude, you lost. Sorry, not sorry. You lost. Like that's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's a sore loser mentality. You shouldn't be saying stuff like that
But
in a loss.
honestly, it was a
Uh,
good culture win, in my opinion. And people were like, oh man, why are they trying so hard? We need to get a draft pick. I could not care less about that stupid draft pick. No offense. Like, there's gonna be a wide receiver right there available. There's gonna be a defensive end, defensive tackle available in the fifth, sixth. I mean, honestly, you guys even traded back to like middle of the first and got a second round pick. Completely cool with me. Like, there's a lot of options this team can do, and it's just nice to know that as a culture they'll pull out some wins like this. So, it's it's fun to be a Panthers fan and see it actually going good for once.
all right, love to hear it. I won't pick against them again the rest of the season.
Honestly,
Um,
I told you, man. Like it would have been better if like you bought the Carolina to you know I think plus 10.5 was like minus 200 range. Could have had Carolina at plus 10.5, and then you would just been mad at the Eagles. Then you just
yeah,
would have been mad at the Eagles.
cry Eagles, cry. Didn't watch the Lions Bears. Colts Titans was in the bottom left corner. Not gonna lie, I didn't pay too much attention to it. Like you said, it was a blowout by the end of the third, and then Titans scored some garbage time points. Rams Jets didn't have on the Sunday ticket one of my four windows. In the 4 o'clock window, I'm not gonna lie, I ain't watching any of these games. Wasn't interested. And Bucks Cowboys, I I watched bits and pieces. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Lawrence, or any of the 4 o'clock window.
Well, so I had a parlay over 4 days, $10 to win 2,000. Um, and it came to an end at the Buccaneers last night. And the last leg of the parlay was the Packers to win by 9.5. Currently, the Packers are up 21-0. And so I had a 4-day long parlay. I watched 2 days before this. I watched for the 1 o'clock games. I watched Washington come through for me, and I watched the Raiders come through for me. And it came down to the Buccaneers, and I kid you not, I cleared out. I didn't do it on a FanDuel, but on DraftKings, I cleared it out. I had like about $40. I just did parlay, 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 all these parlays. Every single parlay had Tampa Bay money line. I was like, it's coming home. It's
Ooh.
coming home, baby. Like it's coming home. And they stunk it up super bad. Uh, no wide receivers. Baker has zero help. Baker was doing amazing, awesome things. Baker made that amazing pass when he had a guy draped on him for the second time this season, and Rashid Rice, is that his name? Rashad Wright. Rashad White.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
what is that? What is that?
Sold. He
I
sold.
mean, even when he had it, he had the ball with like one hand. He was like palming it. Like what the? Do you not remember what Chuba Hubbard did in overtime when you guys won the game like that? Oh man, stupidity. I was so mad. I was like, no, I deserve to lose. I got overzealous and I deserve to lose. That's on me. I'm not even mad anymore, is what I told myself.
You hate to see it. Sounds like a rookie mistake having the same leg on in all your parlays.
Oh,
Seems
dude,
a little
you know,
risky.
I went for it. I was gonna have the biggest payday ever. I thought the Buccaneers were a lock.
Them boys, they were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs early in the day with the Commanders winning, so didn't have anything to play for, I guess, other than Mike McCarthy's job. But even then, I don't know if that's technically safe. But yeah, I mean, Baker sold. Like I said, Rashad White sold. Um,
I don't know if you could say Baker sold. Baker, if you watch the game, Baker
well, he
had an
sold when
opportunity.
he was running out of bounds and then decided to throw it back in bounds to the Dallas. Who was that? Was that Bland that caught that, or who caught the interception?
Yeah, but even then, I wasn't that mad. I still, well, while watching that game, I didn't think Baker was the problem.
It was
What
Jordan
really,
Lewis.
what it really felt like it was a problem was the receivers. I mean, Baker's one interception
That was the drive before the fumble,
was
though,
the
right?
was the one in the end zone where McMillan got his arm. He got ripped of the
Oh
interception in the
yeah,
end
that
zone.
would have been the one to put them ahead by what, 3 or something, right?
Yeah, McMillan literally caught it and had it
And then
ripped
he
from his
ripped it
arm.
away. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Baker had no. There's nothing that was completely not on Baker. That was on his wide receiver because the wide
Oh yeah,
receiver
my bad.
had two hands on it going into
I'm
the
thinking of
ground
a
as
different
well.
game.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of
Wait, he
honestly,
threw one interception, but it got overturned though, right?
it might have been a return. It might, but you
Yeah.
might be right. But all I know is the one Baker interception was literally in possibly not his fault, and he was trying so hard. Honestly, the Cowboys should have had multiple flags for defenseless receivers, because they were just laying them out across the middle, and number 6 Wilson constantly going in with his head and just not getting called
Yeah,
constantly.
they ain't have much to play for, so I'm not shocked that you saw some of them doing reckless crap like that, but that's them boys. That's some boys for you. Thank God we beat them. Um, yeah, so that's the end of week 16 on the week 17. Like I said, we got 2 Christmas Day games. I don't know if you're gonna be watching them, Lawrence, but I don't trust Netflix to not buffer all damn night.
Which
Um,
would be okay. I think they were going to listen.
I hope
But
so.
honestly, looking at the games, I think Kansas City humbles Pittsburgh again. But honestly, I would love to see Steelers win. I would love it. It would actually put some drama on the AFC playoff race. It really, really would. Because I want to see Kansas City fight hard in the last week of the season against the Broncos. I know you want them to fight hard against the Broncos, and the only way that happens is if the Steelers win.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm counting on Steelers to win this one. If they lose, Chiefs are going to rest everyone going into Week 17, and honestly, they're going to let the Broncos beat them because they don't want to see Cincinnati, or they don't want to see the possibility of having to see Cincinnati at any point in the playoffs. So if it comes down to it, they'll let the Broncos win in Week 18. So I'm going for the Steelers. Steelers are what? What does that say? Three. The spread is three. So. Pickens said he's going to play, or there's pretty good indication that Pickens is going to play the Christmas game. So maybe that's why he sat out because just to give him an extra couple days. So that leads me to believe Pickens probably could have played yesterday, but he just was like, let me get an extra couple days. We can still win the division even if we do lose. So a little chess play by Mike Tomlin. So Pickens plays. I got Pittsburgh winning. I can see them winning. I think I could see the Chiefs not taking them serious. And we're playing. I think, and they're playing in Pittsburgh, right? Yeah, I could see the Chiefs not taking this game too seriously, thinking they hot shit and Steelers come and sneak a win in.
yeah, I really
The
desperately
other
want the
game, like I
Steelers
said,
to win.
yeah, because I don't want all the games in Arrowhead plus Zebra's help. That just equals them going back to the Super Bowl. I'm not trying to see that, bro. Baltimore, Houston. We're in Houston. Like we said earlier, Deontay Johnson is on Houston now, so they got somewhat of a replacement for Tank Dell. But
They
Houston's
also
offensive
now
line is at this point makeshift. I don't think any of their starting offensive linemen are still playing. I'm dead ass. I don't think any of the offensive linemen are still playing that started the season. So I don't
the
know.
one leverage that Houston does have is Johnson was just reading Baltimore's playbook. That's the one thing they do have. Now, how much of it he read, who knows? But we know that he had to at least open the book, or sorry, read some stuff on the tablet.
Uh, I wanna take Houston in this one, Lawrence, but
I don't know how you could. It's gonna be
uh,
the Ravens are gonna kill him, man.
yeah, even with the offensive line is just not holding up. They won't be able to run the ball, so you're just gonna drop everyone back in coverage. Even with the bad coverage defense, I think they'll still mollywop them. Honestly, another set of Saturday games: Chargers, Patriots. I don't know how you feel about that one.
I think the Chargers are gonna easily take that one. I think the Chargers. I think they need one more win, to get them a nice seat in the AFC. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the. I think that's correct. So I think they're gonna secure their nice little seating against New England. I think Denver and Bengals. I think the Bengals take it at home, which helps Cincinnati later and to decide their own destiny of some sorts in some way. Um, I just think that ever since Riley Moss went down for Denver, that defense just looks ass. Sorry, not sorry, but it's easy to throw on them. Joe Burrow's gonna throw on them. And I think Joe Burrow can just outplay Bo Nix enough to win the game without much trouble. I think Arizona and the Rams game, I think this is no longer going to be as good of a game based on the Kyler Murray we've seen for the last couple of weeks, and what the Rams are playing for at
Mm.
their home stadium. So obviously for me, I think the biggest game to pick from right now is take Cincy, and I'd even go to say take Cincy minus 3.5. I just think it's going to be Bo Nix trying to go down the field late in the game, score a touchdown, and the Bengals defense finally shows up, and just puts it to bed. And they're probably up by like 6 or 7 at that point. And then for the Sunday games, I mean, honestly, they're on the Sunday slate for a reason. There's not a whole lot of depth to them. Um, Washington and Atlanta is probably one of the biggest ones. Minnesota, Green Bay. But for me, Washington, Atlanta is probably one of the biggest ones. Washington desperately needs to beat Atlanta, and I think Washington's in if they win, kind of deal. Atlanta needs to keep up with the Buccaneers. Atlanta also knows that the Buccaneers are playing Carolina. I think Carolina could take the Buccaneers based on the first game, and based on the offense is looking right now, because they don't have any weapons, but it's in Tampa Bay, so you just got to go with what it is. Tampa Bay probably wins this one comfortably, um, and if they win it comfortably, hey, the Falcons, you got to win another one. I think that's the race on Sunday to watch for is Tampa Bay and Atlanta.
Yeah, made some good points there. Hopping back to Saturday. Yeah, I got my Bengals. Like you said, I probably, if you're feeling balls, you take 3.5. I think they will win by probably, like you said, 5 or 6. Bo Nix will need a touchdown and just won't be able to do it. Defense has been playing well with all the young guys coming in. And then some of the guys, like I think Cam Taylor Britt said, oh man, Lou simplified a lot of the defense, a lot of the play calling. So I guess it's less complicated, and people can get to their spots, get to their reads easier. So as long as the young guys stay starting, offensive line is questionable. A lot of guys out. Mims got hurt in the last game. Orlando Brown still hurt. That's our left and right tackle. So we'll see if they'll be able to suit up. As long as we got Joe, T, and Jamar, I'm not too worried about this game. Like I said, Broncos defense hasn't looked like they were in the beginning of the season. I mean, you can just go back to the Chargers game, where Chargers were able to put up 14 pretty easy in the fourth quarter. So I got Bengals, and then honestly, the other Saturday games I'm not gonna watch. I'm not gonna watch this one. Arizona Rams, I probably will turn on, and then Rams should blow this one out. Um, they need to keep on winning to keep off the Seahawks. Um, and then, like I said, Sunday, 1 o'clock window. I'm probably not touching any of these as far as watching. If they're on, they're on. But I'm not gonna really pay attention to any of them. Then it will go in the later window. My eyes are circled on this Atlanta Washington game. Was flexed into the Sunday Night Football spot. Um, this is interesting because the Falcons they're in full control. I think they're a game, aren't they a half a game basically in front of Tampa Bay now. So
Yep.
they need to win out to win, and then same with Tampa Bay, they need to win out, and Falcons need to lose one. So pretty important for the Falcons. Penix Jr. his first real game, I guess some would say, um, against his Washington defense that honestly looked pretty fragile last game, but Kenny Pickett just couldn't do his magic if he has any. So we'll see what Penix really has in store for Washington. Battle of the rookie quarterbacks. I'm going to limb and take the Falcons. I think they need this more than Washington, even though Washington can win out, and I think they can win the division if Philly loses one more. So, yeah, I got the Falcons. I'm going to go out on a limb and take the Falcons. And that leaves Monday night. San Fran doesn't have anything to play for. So I'm just going to go Detroit. I'm not going to do any recapping of that or previewing of that. Yeah, that's the games of the week for week 17. Uh, Lawrence, did you want to talk about these first round college football playoff games? I know they were kind of all duds.
They were all duds. Um, I mean, the only thing I would say is I think it's funny how everyone's like, "Oh man, we should have put some more SEC teams in there." But like, dude, the SEC was kind of dog shit. No offense, but like,
No offense.
Tennessee was ass. They didn't put up any life against Ohio State outside the second quarter, and they were like your second best team. Um, Besides, I guess Texas and then Georgia, but Tennessee was supposed to be your. If Tennessee had put up a little bit more trouble, then people can start making the noise of, oh man, Ole Miss or Bama or whatever. Man, there were 12 spots and you didn't make it in. Um, do I think SMU should have got in? Yeah, they did a whole lot, and the only time you really noticed them doing any wrong the whole season was against Clemson. And I guess on a different note of what you could say is maybe SMU shouldn't get in. Um, but if we're gonna put anyone in, I think you got to put South Carolina in. I think the best team that didn't make it the end was South Carolina. I think that win over Clemson was spoke bigger than most people think. I mean, Clemson hung tough with Texas. I know the score doesn't say that, and I know a lot of the game doesn't really show that, but I mean, they look competitive. It literally just seemed like they would put drives together and then just fumble the bag consistently. It's not like Texas went out there and just beat the crap out of them when they scored some garbage time stuff. No,
Mm.
they were consistently moving down the field. They just never converted anything because Texas is just a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree. My only takeaway from this past weekend is, uh, number one, like you said, maybe let's quiet the SEC talk versus some of these other conferences. And then number two, we gotta do a better job of the seating. I feel like I know a lot of people talking about today. I'm agreeing with just because you win your conference doesn't mean you automatically get the bye.
Yeah.
I think they gotta get rid of that. I think, hey, if you win your conference, good. You're automatically in. That doesn't mean you win that doesn't mean you get the bye. The bye should go to the four best teams. Period. I'm sorry, Arizona State's not the fourth best team. They probably should have been playing Clemson. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
Texas or another one of these teams gets in that fourth spot. So same with Boise State. They're not the third best team. Someone else should have been there. Could have made some of the other games more interesting, I feel like. Um, and then
Also,
I think. Oh, go ahead.
what I want to add to it as well, like when you're saying it, like we also need to put way more weight on like the people they played to get into it
Strength of schedule.
because they were talking about it in the Indiana game, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Indiana's never been trailing the whole year basically," and the only time they did was against Ohio State.
They
And you look at
lost.
the Ohio State game, like they got beat up bad, like they got mollywopped, and that was the only tough team they played all season.
Yep.
Like that's so horrible to see. And then like you're saying, like I get what you're saying about Boise State, but you also got to look at the thing for Boise State, which is why I agree with I agree with you about Arizona State because like the string of the schedule part, Arizona State really didn't play anybody. They escaped through the Big 12 and didn't play anyone until the Big 12 championship game. Now, did they
Yep.
beat the hell out of Iowa State, which maybe gave their fourth ranking? Maybe, I don't know. But Boise State, they just didn't have. Like, I get they didn't have the strength of schedule, but you could tell they tried because they played Oregon week 2, and they took Oregon down to the very wire, and
Yeah.
Oregon won on the last second field goal. So Boise State's only blemish was one loss to the number one ranked team in the country, but like the number 10 team, like Indiana, like, they did not belong there, and they just did not belong there at all. And that was part of the strength of schedule you're kind of insinuating on, like
Mhm.
with Arizona State and Boise State. I'll defend Boise and maybe put Boise at the 4 seed because I think the Boise Texas matchup been a lot better. But like, yeah, I completely get what you're saying with Arizona State. They did not deserve that part.
Yeah. And second point, maybe depending on how the second round goes, next week, they might have to look at reseeding after the second or even the first round, maybe reseed because honestly, is it really fair that Ohio State has to play Oregon? I mean, it's pretty debatable. Um, yeah, some of these matchups, maybe they need to take a look at what seeds play which. I don't know if the number one seed should play the number eight because that's basically like I don't know. That's basically like I feel like it's a 3-6 matchup, but in reality, it looks like a 4-5 if we're talking about like NBA
Mhm.
comparisons. But I don't know how you feel about that.
I also agree with that because if you look at the whole thing laid out, it just seems like Texas has a cakewalk.
Hmm.
And they're the 5th seed. Like being the next best team that didn't win their conference championship. If this is like the leverage you're going to be given, then yeah, I want to lose. I want to lose in the SEC championship game. I want to be that 5th ranked team because you're going to give me some bum like Arizona State. Which I don't think they're bums, but still, like Texas is going to go in there and beat the hell out of them. They're 14-point favorite. And you look down the line, like as favorites, Penn State's a 10-point favorite. Honestly, it'd be nice if they reorganized it in terms of like matchup, because I would love to see like Penn State take on Texas. It's like that's who should be taking on Texas, like Penn State. Like I also don't want to see Penn State dog walk through. Like, yeah, Boise State's only losses to Oregon, so we think they're good. But we also are talking over here like Boise State could be bad, and I don't think Boise State should be playing Penn State. I think it'd be a better matchup to watch Boise State play Notre Dame, just because how they're gonna play each other.
Mm, yeah, no, I totally agree with that one. Um, these games happen next week, so we'll be able to preview these games probably next Monday, next episode. So no worries there. Anything else you want to cover before we head on out?
I sent it to the boys in the group chat earlier, but I'm starting to get some feels around the league for college basketball. And my hot take right now is Middle Tennessee is very good. I know they just got their ass creamed at the end of the game. I think they lost by like 18,
Yep.
but they were in that game all the way up until like the last probably 6 minutes against the number one team in the country. So I'm gonna throw some flowers out there for Middle Tennessee. I think Middle Tennessee is gonna cause some problems because they're an older, just bigger team. Um, Outside of that, I need to watch a little bit more college basketball. I've been watching a lot, but I haven't found any, you know, pure diamonds yet. I'm kind of on the verge of announcing a few others. I've had some that I popped up and they've since done me or turned me a little wrong. But so far, throughout the whole season, Middle Tennessee has been consistent, a consistent rock.
Love to hear it. I try to watch more college ball. It's hard with all the NBA going on. I tend to watch those a little bit more, but with all the BS going around, especially saw earlier today, Ant-Man got fined for criticizing the refs. I think it was yesterday. We're talking about
Mm-hmm.
how I think they said like if you call if you say this is a technical foul one more time, they're gonna tee you up again or something like that. It's getting pretty out of hand, but
So
uh,
give me your like your quick NBA Christmas slate. Like, so if I was to ask you right now, run through it real quick. Knicks Knicks are a 9.5 favorite. Cover or not cover?
uh, let me pull this up really quick. But shout out to Mason beating UPenn. Didn't I watched a little bit of the game, but didn't need to watch all of it just because I knew Mason had this one. Good bounce back win. Shout out to them. Want to give them some love. Christmas slate. Remember, guys, starting at 12. Even though we got NFL and Netflix, honestly, I think maybe not the first NBA game, but once we get to Timberwolves Mavericks, you might want to tune in for that one. Then the other ones you can watch if you want. Spurs Knicks. I got the Knicks. They're playing well. I think they're playing at home too. So, mm, take. I don't know if you take the Knicks spread. Maybe take Spurs spread or take the over on the points. Spurs don't play defense. Knicks play defense, but I think this will be like a shootout really. Timberwolves Mavs. I got Mavs. Mavs have been playing good. If you want to take the spread, I could see it happening. Timberwolves just haven't looked good since Cat left. And Mavs are playing better since PJ got back in the lineup. And they got Najee Marshall. He's back in the lineup too, so they've been playing better. Sixers, Celtics, take the C's. Sixers suck. Lakers, Warriors. I think we're in San Fran. Braun versus Curry. Lakers did beat the Kings. LeBron played well. No games Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Gives Braun a little bit of rest. I'm taking my Lakers. Take the Lakers spread. I think this game goes over. Neither team really plays good defense. So I take Warriors. Take Lakers spread. Take over on points. Last game, Nuggets, Suns. Both teams are pretty butt. Um, this is a pick me because look, Denver's 1.5. This is a pick me. Just
Denver's also a 4.5 favorite tonight, and they're playing each other tonight.
mm,
But
okay. So they're
Denver's at
playing
home.
in Arizona on Christmas. So maybe the edge to Phoenix is they play better at home, but they both are butt cheeks. Like they're not that good. That's why you're starting to see rumors of Denver trying to make a trade, which is pretty wild. I guess they're looking to move on from Michael Porter Jr., who I thought was playing. I think he's playing pretty well this season. I don't know why they would want to move off of him. If anything, honestly, they got to move off of Jamal Murray. He's just, if it's not the postseason, bro, he's not playing good. And even in the postseason, if you saw last year, he didn't play good unless it's the Lakers. So, but teams are not going to want Jamal Murray. So I don't know how they kind of fix their situation because their team is just not good. You can't keep letting your good players go because you don't want to pay them because your owner's cheap. The owner's like Mike Brown. Their owner's cheap. He doesn't pay luxury tax. So you're not going to win if you're not going to pay even a little bit of luxury tax. So I don't know how to fix Denver.
So Phoenix, but Phoenix is out. I think this is the game that you just leave alone and don't touch.
Yeah, honestly, I don't like. I don't like it. I don't trust either team. I really don't. So, but the other games, I probably roll with what I said. I don't know how you feel about the Christmas slate.
I know now. I just put your parlay together. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna rock with you. I'll send it to you after after the talk.
All right, love to hear it. Other than that, kind of want to go over. Not even just quickly go over Miami's bad loss to the Magic. I literally took a nap Saturday, was it evening, had a migraine, was like, all right, let me take a nap. My heater up, big. No need to worry. Wake up, heater's still up. I'm like, oh, okay. Go get some food. As I'm like coming back home, what do you know? Heat blow the lead. They score 8 points in the fourth quarter. Cole Anthony goes off in the fourth quarter. I was just mad. It's not even the words that came out of my mouth.
I didn't have to ask you about this because I saw the box line because I remember watching the game early and I was like, oh, the Heat are up super big. Markel's probably really happy right now. And I remember checking it like the next day and I was like, wait, how'd the Heat lose? And then I checked that fourth quarter and I said, oh, I don't know if I have to call him out or not, but I'd love to see what he has to say.
Yeah, if this doesn't indicate the need for a rebuild, I don't know what does. If Jimmy doesn't play, it seems like the team can't do anything. And they were up by 20, and I just don't understand how you score 8 points in a modern NBA game. Like this doesn't make any sense. Team's badly constructed. Might as well sell. Hey, let's sell off pieces left and right while everyone's hot. Sell everybody but Hero and Bam. You might be surprised to hear me say Hero. Hero's been balling, bro. I think he's gonna be all-star. He definitely. It's the first season you can honestly say he got better since his rookie season. So I'll keep those two. Sell everybody else. The team's just not constructed well. Teams want Jimmy. Give Jimmy up. Sorry to hear. If you're a Heat fan, it's probably bad to hear. Maybe you don't want to hear it, but it's what needs to happen. He just needs to go. He needs to help somebody else out because he damn sure ain't helping us out. So that's all I gotta say about that. I'm not gonna rant too much longer.
You take Michael Porter Jr. though, and some picks.
And I don't even think Denver has picks.
Oh.
Yeah. At this, I'm not even gonna say it because I really piss off Heat fans. So I'm gonna keep that to myself. That's all, if that's all you got, Lawrence. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, happy holidays, everyone. This has been episode 135, MTL Sports Podcast. We'll see you next week. So peace out, y'all. Happy holidays.